Okay, today I'm going to show you a quick improvisation exercise, very similar to some of the ones we looked at in the past, but use that as a jumping off point for talking about the particular skills involved in improvising quietly on the piano. It's a really important skill and often gets overlooked. Okay, so first of all, let me just play this improv exercise through a couple of times just so you can get a feeling of it, and then I'll explain how I'm doing it. Okay, it's in E minor. Okay, quite straightforward. What's going on in the left hand? I'm playing a very simple, very bare sounding progression. E minor, C major, A minor, B. Okay, each chord without its third in the middle. We don't need the thirds in there to tell us whether they're minor or major, because the listener will pick up the context from the very minor sound in the left hand. So we're keeping it very simple and very bare down there. Yeah, E minor, C, A minor, B major. Okay, if you wanted to experiment with that a bit, you could play it as an open shell chord. Okay, for a slightly jazzier sound, that's playing the root and the seventh above it. Okay, so, but for now we'll stick with those simple fifths because they're so easy to remember, and all you do is play them over and over and over and over again. Okay, so it's an 8-bar exercise which you repeat obviously, and you have 2 measures I should say as well, of 4 beats each for each chord. So 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4. Bum bum. Yeah, okay, so very straightforward. In the right hand, I'm improvising on a simple blues scale in E minor, and I've built it very simply just using the E minor pentatonic and adding a B flat. Okay, a single blue note in there. And it really sits under your hands nicely, does that scale in that key. Yeah. Okay. If you're not familiar with the basic concept of improvisation, okay, I'll summarise them in a second, but do have a look at some of my earlier videos, particularly the playlist on really basic harmony and some of the stuff on basic jazz. I'll include links. Very broadly though, if you're just starting out with improvisation, the way you do this is dead simple. You play that progression I was talking about in the left, and then in the right, of all the notes at your disposal, which of course are not just in that octave but up here as well, you don't go crazy trying to play them all, but you just start off on 1 or 2. Okay, so if you're just starting out with improvisation, just pick the E and the G from the scale and just improvise with those. Or up here. Okay, and then as you get more confident with that, then you go for 3 notes and then 4 notes and then 5, 6 until you've got the full 7 and you're playing lots of different octaves and you're playing 2 or more notes at the same time or whatever. That is the basic process you go through, and as I said, if it's the first time you've done it, do go, when you finish watching this video, do go back and have a look at some of that more basic stuff which I've linked to. Okay, being quiet. The reason I want to talk about being quiet is because I noticed that so many people who in particular teach themselves to improvise on the piano, but in generally teach themselves piano, really struggle with playing softly. Okay, people can play loud, but soft is much more difficult. So the very first thing you should be doing is making sure that your hand is nice and relaxed. Okay, my arm and my hand are bad examples because I've got very anatomically strange arms. But basically, all of this part of your arm from the elbow downward should be nice and relaxed, and the the sort of spring, if you like, should be in your wrist and in your fingers, and that's where the power is coming from. And only very occasionally are you using the higher bits of your arm and the weight up there to create notes. And all these muscles should be really relaxed. So that's your first stage. The second stage is to really cultivate your touch, okay, which is the word we use to describe the amount of control you have of the pressure and the evenness when you're hitting an individual note. And the way to do that, and people hate me for suggesting this, but it is the number one best way, is to play scales. And practice playing them as evenly and carefully as possible. If you don't know your scales, get a scale book, or you'll find them online, whatever. Okay, but play those scales. And there are certain things you can do when you're playing your scales to help your soft and loud playing. Okay, so for example, a classic thing to do is start playing a scale soft and get louder and louder as you go up. Okay, not an easy thing to do, especially playing really soft notes down here without benefit of soft pedal, which we'll come on to in a second, is not an easy thing to do, especially at speed. Okay. The next thing you can do is use the soft pedal, which is a left-hand pedal. You need to be a bit sparing with it though. Okay, it's not quite as dangerous as the sustain pedal on the right, but do be a bit careful. It also depends on the type of piano you're playing. Most digital pianos, if they have a soft pedal at all, when you press it, all it does is take the volume down a notch. Okay, you might as well just change it on the volume slider or the volume knob. Okay. On a real piano and on some very high-end digital pianos, it's different, okay? When I press the soft pedal on this piano, what's happening is that inside the piano, the hammers are moving from their normal resting position to a resting position that's slightly closer to the strings. So there's less play in them before they hit the strings, okay? That means they can't get as much swing, not as much momentum, therefore they hit the strings with less force than normally they would do. But, and this is a critical thing, moving the hammers to that new position changes the characteristics of the keyboard, okay? So hitting the soft pedal on an upright piano doesn't just make it softer, it makes it easier to play softer. There's a greater delicacy there, okay? This piano in particular has a really good it's got lots of flaws. I've been bashing it since I was a kid, but it has a really good action that does become tremendously delicate when you put the soft pedal down. Okay, I wouldn't be able to play that softly without the soft pedal down. And it's not because it's making it softer, but it's making it easier to play softer. Okay, so have a go with your soft pedal if you're playing on an upright. Finally, and specifically when you're improvising, you can make things easier for yourself by choosing simpler improvisations. And often soft playing favours simple improvisation. So you'll notice at one point there, I just played those very simple octaves using the sustain pedal as well as the soft pedal to hold those notes. Okay, and brings out that lovely delicacy that the piano is capable of. Yeah. So rather than getting bogged down in loads of, which you might not be able to do at this stage anyway, just see what you can do. Just doing really simple stuff. Maybe even just playing one note at a time. You can be tremendously expressive, just playing really simple stuff. Okay, so there we go. Have a go at the improv exercise. If any of the terminology and stuff that I use confuse you, do go back and look at my earlier videos. Couple of quick sort of news items, if you like. Loads of people are asking me about the cocktail piano ebook that I'm working on, and yes, it's nearly finished. I was hoping to have it out this month. Actually, it's probably going to be a little bit later in the summer because so much interesting stuff has come out of it, but it is going to be available soon. I'm working on it. I'm really enjoying it, actually, so looking forward to having it out soon. Secondly, have a look at my new website, which I keep plugging, www.billspianopages.com, which has got a blog, which I need to update actually, and various other bits and pieces. It's got the full index of my piano tutorials on there as well. And finally, if you are absolutely new, please do subscribe to the channel, and please do have a think about buying my book, How to Really Play the Piano, which has got loads of stuff in there about improvising 12-bar blues, which is the way the book takes you into improvisation, and stuff about basic harmony and chords and things, which is kind of really useful and pretty much essential to know if you're getting into jazz or blues or pop piano, any kind of improvisational piano. Okay, I hope that was useful, and I hope to have another video out there soon.